Good evening, you guys. It's your boy B Mahari here, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. Y'all get what I'm saying? Welcome to episode 24 of Basketball Conversations. It's my weekly Friday show, 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on this channel. I want to thank all the members of the LDBC for their support and their continuous guidance from me as I keep making moves out there. We're about 4 subscribers away from 600 subscribers, though, guys. So we making big moves out here, guys. And I want to thank all my subscribers and all the people that have been commenting on my videos. Y'all guys have been the best, man. And sooner or later, when we start reaching more subscribers, I will start putting up the Cash App links and my PayPal links so you can guys donate if you want to the value of the channel too, guys. So we got some things to talk about tonight. We're going to discuss about a little bit about, maybe about the league, possibly wanting to restart the season, but a lot of the people around the league are against that. And then obviously we're going to talk about the Jordan documentary, episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance. But there's a lot on the menu, too, guys. So let's get down to business here. As I see my brothers Duke and Marquise Johnson, they always the loyal people right here on this channel, too, guys. You know what I mean? Not gonna go on for too long. I just wanted to, chat, shoot the stuff about some basketball tonight. So with no further ado, let's get down to business here, okay? So I was reading around, some NBA news, this week, and the NBA has been trying so hard, man. They've been trying very, very hard to try to push, to resume the season. You know what I mean? People. There's been, reporters on, TV, and then also people like LeBron James that want to resume the season. You know what I mean? To try to at least get an opportunity for a championship. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, there's been a lot of pushback because apparently, according to some of the articles I've been reading, there have been people in the NBA community that have been against, resuming the season. That Adam Silver's been trying so hard and trying different ways to try to give the possibility of resuming the entire season. That apparently a lot of the players are not receiving any information about if the season is going to be canceled or not, or if there's any other new updated information about, when the league will resume and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of conflicting stuff, as I like to put it. Okay. Now, I've been expressing about this whole issue many, many, many times since the coronavirus pandemic, began, which basically delayed the entire year. Okay. I have been on the record on this channel. I've said it many times. The season should be canceled. There's no reason at all for basketball to resume under any circumstances. Right now, there's no guarantee of a vaccine that could possibly, help prevent fighting against the virus right now. And there's been a lot of states that have been kind of reopening several businesses out there. They're kind of lessening down on lockdown restrictions, and the death toll and the number of cases are continuing to rise. You know what I mean? And there's no end in sight. So I have been saying many, many times the NBA should just go on the record and say we're canceling the entire season as much as they want to. I also read that they wanted to try to resume the season in a spot in the Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Like, there's some big problems with that, though, that I wanted to address about. One, how are you going to get a lot of the people that are working in these games regulated, make sure that none of them are carrying the virus? Two, where these players are going to stay? Where are these people that are going to stay, that are going to work in the games? The referees, the camera people, the scores people, all that stuff, training staff. You know what I mean? This is beyond ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? As I see my people here, Mr. Trick Nosy, the OG from Texas, was shaking, and the lovely Tay Tay Brown there. Hey, Tay Tay Brown, we thank you for your service out there, though, too. You know what I mean? Be careful out there. And we got the crazy man, George Page, in here. He said, my stage is reopened today. I'm hit. Man, I tell you what, though, bro, just be careful out there, man. You know how to be crazy people out there. But, yeah, the thing is this, though, man. The thing is this. It's too difficult to get so much regulation and trying to make sure that a lot of people are basically clean from this virus, because the virus moves, it moves in various places, and it keeps mutating every single time. So to be honest with you guys, I've been saying this over and over again. The NBA should just go on press conference and just say we tried every single resource out there, but we are going to cancel the season. There's no reason to continue the season right now. As George Space said, many can't even train in the facilities right now. Exactly. My community center that I normally go to do my workouts and do my basketball stuff is closed right now. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you too. Yeah, most love, most certainly, Tay Tay Brown. We thank you what you're doing out there. So be careful out there in New York. But yeah, the NBA is just keeps trying its hardest to try to find different possibilities of trying to resume the season. But not many players are on board with this because a lot of them are staying home. A lot of them are probably just sitting down, not even doing any workouts, things of that sort. So how are you going to find a way to get all the playoff seasons to come back and resume a postseason? It just doesn't make sense. And more importantly, a lot of the players are basically getting paid, are already been paid right now to the skins they missed. You know what I mean? So here's my closing statement on this. The NBA should just go on the record and just say we're canceling the entire season. There's no reason to continue the season whatsoever. There's no there's no way that we could probably resume the season because the risk factor of for our players to continue this coronavirus is just too high to deal with. You know what I mean? And that just is what it is. And Mr. Tricknoty said, "Man, I ain't going nowhere. I finally went to my restroom after 1 week. I've been using the filling station around the corner." I'm sure you have, Mr. Tricknoty. I'm sure you have. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. As JT Brown says, thank you, George Page. Yep, most certainly. No doubt about it. But yeah, I'm just gonna close this topic by just saying like this: NBA should just cancel the season. Stop playing games. Stop playing ring around the rosy with this. Just cancel the season and move on. That's exactly what they should do. All right. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people that have various opinions about that though. And some of them can go as radical as say, like, well, what? Well, LeBron's gonna miss a chance to win a fourth championship. Bro, nobody cares about a championship right now. Nobody cares about it. All right. When you are thinking about yourself and about the lives of people out there, you know what I mean, that are getting affected by this virus every day, then you really are thinking about more about yourself. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous. TJ Brown says, laying in the bed laying in the bed so exhausted. I'm sure you are, Tay Tay. I'm sure you are. I'm sure there's been pure hell out there trying to take care of all the patients out there, that's trying to, get better and all that. So as I see my brother Frank guys and foremost, this has been the one guy that's been always constantly commenting on my videos, always showing me love though, man. So I just want to give all the love and respect to Frank Cass and foremost though, bro, because he's been pulling it down for me since day one. Much love, man. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, with that out the way, now the best part of the show we're going to get down into. We're going to discuss about episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance. Now, if you have not watched the whole series by now, you're missing out on a lot of good stuff. And just remember one thing, though, guys. Just remember one thing. This was supposed to originally be released in June during the NBA season. But unfortunately, the coronavirus hit and everything got pushed forward to now. So, it is what it is, though, man. As I see Amir Wilson in the building there said, in fact, this ain't going to benefit nobody if they continue the season. And somebody's going to say is sick and God forbid dies. Yep. Huge liability issues. That's exactly what it is, though, Mr. Amir Wilson. And George Space says, like these dumbasses protesting to stay at home. I know, bro. I know. Same here in Minnesota, too. But right now, the governor's been holding his guns on the issue. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so let's get down to business here about episode 5 of the documentary here, guys. So the episode 5 was basically two subjects in one in that particular episode. They first talked about about the Dream Team experience after the Bulls won their first championship. Okay. Now, most of the stuff I've already known about. Okay. Because we already know why Isaiah Thomas was not included on the Dream Team because he had beef with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean? There was no chance for him to get on the Dream Team. I'm sorry. But besides on that, what I really learned about the Dream Team was that they really did a good job of describing about when they first met Tony Kukoc. Now, Tony Kukoc was one of the best six men during the '90s. Okay, now he was six. He was what 6'10", something like that. Very rangy. He can shoot. He can finish, and he can pass. Okay, but Jerry Krause was heavily recruiting this guy when he was in Croatia during the time where Croatia was split its independence from Yugoslavia, and they were going through major civil war throughout the whole '90s. Okay, and Jerry Krause heavily labeled this guy as the next future franchise player of the Chicago Bulls, which really rubbed Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen the wrong way. And when when that when their first game of the Olympics happened in Barcelona, okay, as I see Jacob Jennings in the building here too. What's going on, man? Welcome to the channel, though, bro. Salute to you. All right. George Page says, how much him and Magic kiss? I wouldn't think they had beef. Oh, they had beef, bro. They had beef. It was particularly because because when Magic Johnson had the HIV illness when he was forced to retire, Isaiah Thomas was spreading rumors about the fact that he said that the only reason why Magic Johnson had the HIV pandemic is because he was basically gay, and because of that, Magic really was rubbed off the wrong way about Isaiah Thomas and didn't speak to Isaiah Thomas for a while. All right, and more so on Magic and probably more on Bird because Bird also had his own issues with Isaiah Thomas too. Because of those rumors and because of the rivalry and the personal animosity that Jordan and Pippen had against Isaiah, there was no chance of him playing on the Dream Team. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I get that Isaiah's accomplishments and everything he did warrants being on the Dream Team. I'm not dismissing that at all. The problem was the reputation that he obtained and ordering his team, the Bad Boy Pistons, to cheat shot on every single play during their time when they were a championship contending team and when they were winning championships. People did not appreciate the fact that the Bad Pistons were playing these roughhouse tactics, and the ringleader of the Bad Boys was Isaiah Thomas. That's just the facts. But I just wanted to ramble on that though, just to make sure I'm clear about what the question what George Page had. Okay. So moving on from that, Jerry Krause really revered Tony Kukoc in a way where it really gave a bad impression on Michael and Scottie Pippen. Okay. As I see my brother LB in the building. What's going on though, man? LB, what's going on, man? Y'all go subscribe to LB though, man. Trick Nolte asks, who was the better six man, Tony Kukoc or Vinnie Johnson? Woo! Very good question, Mr. Trick Nolte. Very good question. Vinnie Johnson was. I'll put it like this: Vinnie Johnson was a guy that could get hot really, really quick. You know what I mean? He could score points in bunches, but very inconsistent at times. He was a very good rebounder. He was one of the best rebounding guards during his time too. But I think that in a sense, Tony Kukoc was a far better sixth man because he could do a lot more for your team. He was basically what I think he was like 6'10" or 6'7", I think. Let me check his his height real quick. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Oh, he was 6'11". Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So 6'11". 6'11". So, and at that time, a young Tony Kukoc, he could shoot, pass, and lead the fast break. He wasn't a big rebounder, and he wasn't much of a defender, but he's basically tough in his own way. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So, and Amir Wilson also said Isaiah was the instigator and a major hater because he ain't going to get the shot MJ got. Yeah, that's a fact. I cannot argue with that, man. That's a fact. And Jacob Jennings said, I like Kukoc. Yeah, I agree with that. George Pace says Vinnie Johnson. Okay. Absolutely. Amir Wilson said Tony Kukoc was a better sixth man. Okay. So we got you got a lot of them that said that Tony Kukoc was a better sixth man, and some of them, and only a few said Vinnie Johnson. So, okay. I like that. But yeah, let me continue on though. So off of the first game, you know what I mean? Because in the locker room before the game, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen told his USA teammates, "Listen, we want Kukoc. If Tony Kukoc on the floor, we got him." And I was able to watch the full game between the United States and Croatia. I'm telling you, man, what they did to Tony Kukoc was just beyond craziness. All right. Pippen was basically checking him at full court, harassing him, bumping him off his spot, and Tony Kukoc shot horribly. He was intimidated by Jordan and Pippen. When you got two of the best defenders in the game basically on you all game long, shoot, man, I'm telling you, bro. Pippen and Jordan showed no mercy to that kid, and he basically they basically send the message loud and clear that Tony Kukoc was basically a bum in their eyes and sending them directly towards Jerry Krause. You understand what I'm saying? Ah, my main man, Mr. Black Fight Fan TV, Mr. Trill Boxer talking the building. What's going on, man? Oh, man. Yeah, this is the first time I see you in a while on my channel. Salute, man. He says, I remember that. Yeah, they were advertising Tony Kukoc as the next Michael Jordan. That's exactly what they were doing. Absolutely, Black Fight Fan. No doubt. That was all Jerry Krause, though, man. That was all Jerry Krause. So yeah, they was checking the dude. They was bumping him at full court, and Tony Kukoc got intimidated. I mean, shoot. If Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen was doing that to me, I just quit, bro. Like, god damn. They just destroyed Kukoc's confidence and basically blew him out by 33 points. But you know what though? I give Tony Kukoc a lot of credit because when they finally met in the gold medal game, okay? When they met for the gold medal, okay? Tony Kukoc showed his inner toughness, and he came back and basically stuck it to Jordan and Pippen. He scored, 16 points and had 9 assists in that game. He played much better. And from that point forward, I think Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, had appreciation and respect for Tony Kukoc because you got to remember, Tony Kukoc grew up in Croatia, okay? Croatia was a province back in the former Yugoslavia. When they declared their independence, they basically were involved in a civil war that was very, very hostile and very, very bloody at that time, all right? I don't have time to go over that, though, but, the thing was, though, man, is that these players from the Croatian team, they grew up in poverty. They grew up in a war-torn country, so they were not soft. They were not going to put up with no intimidation whatsoever. You understand what I'm saying? And Tony Kukoc, presented Jordan and Pippen as that, show that inner toughness in him. You know what I mean? And, they liked Tony Kukoc down the line when he was playing for them in 96 to 98. But what Jordan said was by the way that Jerry Krause presented to Tony Kukoc, it basically rubbed him the wrong way. And that's why they basically made him into a rookie, just like what George Page said. You understand what I'm saying? LB says, I like the microwave. All right, cool. Jacob Zen says, chill talk and salute. Texas native Fort Worth in the house. Yep, that's right, man. Most certainly. Hold on, let me do something real quick. Hold on. Y'all hold on one second. All right. Okay. Let me get you there. There we go. Perfecto. All right. Perfect. All right. So let's continue on, though, guys. Let's continue on. Chuck Nolte asked the question, even though Brazilian Oscar Schmidt was drafted by the New Jersey Mets, why isn't it he never played in the NBA? And so do you think he would have been a great player? I don't know how Oscar Schmidt would have adjusted well in the NBA at that time because you got to understand the NBA is not what it is today. You know what I mean? Oscar Schmidt, the guy could score and he could shoot and basically he could score in bunches. If you have not watched the tape of Oscar Schmidt when he basically tore up the USA team in the 88 the 88, 89 Olympics? But do yourself a favor. Go check it out. He was basically putting on a show against a young David Robinson, against Sean Elliott, basically against those young college kids at the time before the NBA players were allowed to play. So I don't know. I get the sense that Oscar Schmidt was kind of, he was basically had an eye for the NBA, but I don't think he was interested in playing in the NBA either. So I think he was probably more interested in representing his country and playing in the international circuit. So I think that's just my opinion, though, at least. But I think he would have done wonders in the NBA because he could shoot, he could create off his own dribble, but also he can come off screens very, very well, which is one of the things Jordan didn't like to guard against. So I don't think he would do. I think he would do really well in the NBA, and he would have some good success over there. You know what I mean? But I think he was better off in the international circuit for very good reason too. But yeah, let's continue on though, guys. So after that though, man, like Tony Kukoc, at the end of the day, he earned his approval from Michael and Scotty later on. But like I said, the way that Krause, presented to them, it rubbed them off the wrong way. And there's no denying about that. Yep. Brian Constant foremost said Drazen Petrovic was a really good player back then as well. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. R.I.P. to Drazen Petrovic. Man, I have his jersey actually in my room. You know what I mean? If he didn't die in that car accident, I think he would have had. I think he would have had a long career. You know what I mean? He would have had a long career, averaging at least 25 points per game because he was an excellent shooter and actually one of the best pump fake players that you would ever see. He had a really good, strong pump fake that made you go in the air. You know what I mean? I loved watching Drazen Petrovic play. It's just a damn shame that he died too early, man, in his peak, bro. Yep. And George Space says, and players make more money overseas. So yeah, most of them do. That certainly was true. You know what I mean? That certainly is true. But now I'm going to get into the big topic of discussion. I was actually going to think about doing the video about this, but I think this is a more appropriate platform to do the kind of platform and the kind of setting to do it, because then I could talk a little bit more extensively and let you guys interact in the chat though. And it's because I wanted to talk about within episode 5 too was the Michael's unwillingness to speak up and in political issues and injustice through within the black community. You understand what I'm saying? Now, oh my God, Black Fight Fan yet says, who is the greatest Eastern European basketball player of all time? Oh my God, Black, listen, man. You just saying that because you have a love obsession of Lomachenko. Stop it, bro. But no, I'm serious though. To answer your question though, there's two that I had in mind. One, Drazen Petrovic, from Yugoslavia, or the other one was Arvydas Sabonis from Russia. Back then, it was called the Soviet Union. If y'all have not seen Arvydas Sabonis before he had the knee injuries and when he got older, do yourself a favor. Go check out his highlight reels, man. He was a beast. He was a guy that was basically Shaq-like with excellent post moves. You know what I mean? He could pass out of the post. He could basically shoot from the outside and basically can overpower you. You know what I mean? So, I think that, those two guys most certainly, Jacob Jennings says Dirk Nowitzki. Oh, hey, what's up, Corey B? How you doing, my man? Jacob Jennings says Dirk Nowitzki. Okay. Yep, we're going to get into that, George Page. We're going to get into that. So, but Black Pipe Fan says just a question. I know, I'm just joking, bro. Black, I knew you was going to say no, Dirk Nowitzki. Bro, I love Dirk. I listen, Dirk is one of my favorite players, all right? But listen, Dirk Nowitzki was basically an innovation of what, those Eastern European players came from at that time, okay? But the guys like Drazen Petrovic, Sabonis, Vlade Divac, those were the guys that basically paved the way for those European players to come overseas to the NBA and make their impact. That's why you saw Dirk Nowitzki had the career that he had. You know what I mean? That just is what it is, though, bro. I know. Listen. I still love Dirk for what he did in the 2011 Finals when he stuck it to LeBron James. That was classic. I loved it, man. Jacob Jennings says Sabonis was good. Oh yeah, absolutely. Most certainly, Sabonis was a beast, bro. We saw Sabonis basically when he had the knee problems, when he couldn't even move. I was also read that his knees were almost an equivalent of a person that went through a major car accident. That's how bad his his knees was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, what's up, Crump TV Entertainment? Welcome to the channel, though, man. Salute. Welcome to the channel. But yeah, now that I got all that stuff out the way here, oh my God, Trick Note said, who do you build the team around? Blob, Blob, or Michael Olowokandi? How about neither, Trick Note, bro? I'm not building with any of those teams, though, bro. They were busts, man. Hell, I might have a better chance of developing Kwame Brown than if I had to choose any of those two. Come on, Trick Note. You know those twos are bums. They both garbage, man. God damn, man. Man, Trick Notice always got the funniest questions. But okay, let me get to what I want to talk about here. Okay, all right, there we go. So, and also when we talked about it in episode 5, there too, was Michael's unwillingness to speak up on major in political issues within the black community. But they particularly touch upon the 1990 Senate race with Harvey Gantt, who was trying to be his trying to be the first black senator in the state of North Carolina against a guy by the name of Jesse Helm, who was a well-known racist at that time. You understand what I'm saying? And Trillboxer said, "Wow, yeah, yeah. You see how Trick Nolte likes to play them funny questions though, bro. But he is very intelligent in what he does though, bro. But he always making me laugh." Jacob Jennings says, "What about Manu Ginobili?" Manu Ginobili was a beast. Yeah, he's definitely a beast. I would put him up there, probably top 10 greatest European players, but he's no better than Vlade Divac or Petrovic or Sabonis or Dirk Nowitzki or was it Tony Parker too. He's no better than them guys, but he's definitely in my top 10, most certainly. I'll think about that this week though. Who my top 10 greatest European players though too. Okay, but yeah, I really I was already known about some of the things Michael Jordan did at that time, which particularly he also talked about how it was reported. He also said that Republicans also buy my sneakers, and Michael, pretty much didn't deny what he said, okay? But he pretty much did not endorse, Harvey Gantt in his own backyard of North Carolina. And would it have helped, him win the race against Jesse Helms? Who knows? But it could have maybe helped a bit to try to, boost his, chances by endorsing him. But, Michael just, didn't want to do that because I think the problem is that Michael Jordan had built a basically an image about himself that is basically clean and uncut, which is perceptually a image that suits the white people. Unfortunately, the problem was this: he did not revere well to black people a lot as well because he really didn't have much to say about black issues or black injustices, particularly you know during that time of the LA riots though too. I didn't even hear one thing about what Michael Jordan said during that period though too. While Craig Hodges did. Now I'm going to say the Craig Hodges stuff for later because this ties to what we're talking about here. Okay, so the bottom line is this: Michael even flat out admits that you know Mike that Jordan never saw himself as an activist, and unfortunately, he kind of said to himself like, "I shouldn't be. You know what? If you don't want to take my example, then I shouldn't be your role model." But the problem is, people looked at him as a role model, regardless of race. Okay, and Michael Jordan should have been much more aware about his platform and having the willingness to go all the way and speak about these issues though too, because people would have more respect for you that way. But the thing was, during that time in the 90s, it was a very much a different time, you know. And the other thing too was that, I think that when you really look back at what Michael was basically doing at that time, Michael cared more about, keeping his money in line and maintaining that of imagery of his, which is a complete antithesis and the opposite of what LeBron James has done throughout his entire career and what he's done this week. All right. So I don't need to go there. Okay. But I really felt that, Michael Jordan was pretty much a sellout. Now, is he a straight up coon? I'm not going to go that far. But I will tell you that, you know, Mr. Mr. Michael Jordan was not revered well by the black community a lot, and there's still a lot of people that don't respect him well because of because of the unwillingness to speak up on these issues though too, which ties into about the Greg Hodges issue. Okay, y'all remember who Craig Hodges is, right? But if you guys don't know who Craig Hodges is, let me explain to you a little bit. Okay, Craig Hodges was one of the best 3-point shooters, of his time. Okay, he won 3 straight 3-point shooting titles. Okay, and pretty much was basically the Bulls' hired gun anytime when the Brillo double team breaks. And he was basically on the first two championship years, okay? But the Bulls decided to release him basically in after the 91-92 year. He was only 31 years old when he got released, okay? Now, Craig Hodges was the complete opposite of Jordan because Craig Hodges was basically a guy that spoke up a lot about the injustices and a lot of the issues that you see today, okay? Now, the thing that I mostly had a problem with Michael Jordan was that Michael Jordan wasn't willing to go all the way. And I've heard and I've read some stuff there too, guys, as I pop my phone out real quick. Hey, Neon Eyes, what's going on, beautiful? How you doing? Yeah, what's going on, beautiful? You understand me? Y'all go subscribe to Neon Eyes though. She's been putting up, good content, and she's really a colorful personality with a very warm heart though too. You know, understand what I'm saying? And look at Black Fight Fan TV say, "What's up, light skin sugar? I see you, Neon Eyes. Yeah, I see you." But yeah, I was reading some stuff that Craig Hodges wanted Michael Jordan, to wanted to build, wanted Michael Jordan to basically build like was it a Nike factory or something like that somewhere in inner Chicago? You know what I mean? And hire mostly a lot of people in the inner city of Chicago, mostly black people, which was could have been a really huge thing and would have been a huge statement, for a lot of people back then. But Michael just didn't wasn't interested in hearing that. All right, and Craig Hodges was very critical of how America was very much acceptance of a lot of racial injustices against black people during that time. You know what I mean? But I think the big problem was that for Craig was is that he was way ahead of his time. I mean, he basically was doing a lot of great stuff, but at that time, a lot of people were not willing to accept some of the things that he had. And the other thing too was that Craig Hodges, when he was visiting the White House, he was wearing a white dashiki, and basically in support of what was going on in the L.A. riots and things of that sort. And also, I think he also wrote a letter to George. I think George Bush, the father. He wrote a letter, I think, basically, addressing discontent of the administration's treatment of the poor and minorities. You know what I mean? And because of those things, unfortunately, he got blackballed out of the NBA, and he was only 31 years old at that time, and he was never given an opportunity to play basketball ever again. And eventually, he had to file a lawsuit against the NBA because they were basically trying to dissociate him from the entire league. You know what I mean? And it's very unfortunate that Craig Hodges was not in the documentary because there's certainly a lot of things that Craig Hodges can say that's really going to make Michael Jordan's image a very, very, very poor, which basically already is poor as it is. As you read all the stuff that you've been reading about, you understand what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to touch upon that. But I think at the end of the day, Michael Jordan, was more worried about his image and about keeping his money in line than to speak about all these issues though. But he did say on one thing though that he's not really an activist. But he don't even though he respected people like the Muhammad Ali's of the world that really did a lot of the stuff though. But you know, I think it left a very bad taste in people's mouths. And am I surprised about it? No, because Michael Jordan was a guy that just not was not interested in doing that. You know, and I was already aware of that before before that section of the episode came about. So that's just my 2 cents on this. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Let me check out the chat real quick before we move on here. True Notice said, "Hey, True, you're gonna be mad at me for this, but why did people from Dallas and Larry Johnson seem to be the tough guy? He claimed to be a boss, but threw 10 punches at Zoe's Morning's head, but none let it." You know what though, man? You know what though, bro? I've always asked myself this question though, like, bro, how do you listen, Larry? How do you start swinging at Zoe's head and you ain't landing no damn punches though, bro? Like, come on, man. You gotta at least land something. You understand what I'm saying? And Trill says, my uncles used to beat Larry Johnson's ass. He was never a tough guy. He's just a tough You just from a tough hood. Jigsaw circle. Yeah, man. Bakari King also said, I've seen MJ's desk there, and man, look, dude, in Porsche. Yeah, we're gonna get into that though, about for episode 6. Okay. Yeah, Neon I said, hey, Chig Nolte. You know what I mean? And Trick Nolte said, Showboxing LOL. He got punked by Anthony Mason. He had no hands. You know what, though, man? Listen, I love Larry Johnson back in the day, but listen. LJ was not a tough guy, all right? Even Charles Oakley punked Larry Johnson when Larry Johnson was a rookie, all right? Listen, Larry Johnson didn't want no problems with Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley in those days, dude. Come on, man. Y'all ripping on Larry Johnson, aren't you? Man, what Larry Johnson could have been if he didn't injure his back in '94. What he could have been. All right. Bakari King's pretty much laughing at this. Okay. George Pace said, you still got people mad at Ali for saying no Viet Cong ever called me a boy. Oh, I know what you meant. Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely about that. No question about that at all. You know what I mean? But, they accepted Ali when he was basically going through Parkinson's disease. You know what I mean? That's just the double standard of America here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's make sure to smash the like button though too, guys, and make sure to share this live stream though too. I would really appreciate it. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let's continue on to episode 6 here, and this is really what basically was one of my favorite moments of the episode here. Okay, favorite episode I should say, because they really did a good job of breaking down the whole gambling controversy and things of that sort. Okay, now this is basically all started when Sam Smith was working as a reporter for the Chicago Tribune, but he basically started out his career as an investigative reporter. Okay, because he was very interested about how people had this about this imagery about Michael Jordan, that he was basically a can't do no wrong type of person, and Sam Smith, you know, basically was in those locker rooms, talking with the players, and basically was in those practices, seeing all the stuff that went down. All right, and so in basically in 1991 or something like that, 92. I should say 92. In 1992, he wrote the book called The Jordan Rules. All right, he wrote the book about the Jordan Rules, basically detailing about a lot of the stuff that went down in them practices. Okay, where Michael Jordan would berate his teammates, he would get physical with his teammates, and basically would verbally abuse them in the worst way. And apparently, when it was reported by many in the media that Horace Grant was the guy that was leaking through the sources, and it was found out through the documentary too that Horace Grant had a really good relationship with Sam Smith, the Chicago Tribune reporter. Now, obviously, Horace Grant categorically denied, ever spilling out this information. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, I'm starting to believe that Horace Grant was the guy that was leaking out the information, because he was envious of the fact that he was still living under the shadow of Michael Jordan. Okay, and the other thing too is that I see my brother CB Sports TV in the building. What's going on, CB Sports TV? No doubt about it, though, man. Salute to you, man. Okay, Bakari King, I'll get you a question in just a minute. Um, but yeah, I also did a video about this earlier this morning about where Horace do another story that was kind of left out in the book though too, that during the games, during the road games, when Horace Grant was playing very very badly. Now y'all will not believe this. Michael Jordan intentionally would take away Horace Grant's food anytime Horace Grant played a very bad game. Now, you want to know how fucked up that is? Man, that is just, man. When I was watching Undisputed this morning, I should say, was it yesterday or something like that? This morning? I don't know. Actually, it was this morning. Yeah. And when Shannon Sharp was talking about that, he was like, man, if Michael Jordan stripped away my food, we was going to fight. I was going to destroy Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Now, y'all got to understand, Shannon Sharp grew up in the deep South. And I already did a video about this earlier this morning. So go ahead and check it out on the archives of my channel. But Shannon Sharp grew up in the deep South, where basically his family grew up in very poor conditions where they had to literally eat animals, to survive. All right. They had no functioning water, no electricity, nothing. All right. And yeah, Shannon Sharp grew up in the deep south and had to basically survive to get where he wanted to be and became a NFL Hall of Famer. But yeah, imagine if John Elway or Terrell Davis took food from Shannon Sharp just because he had a bad game. Oh, there will be some smoke in the city. No doubt, there gonna be some smoke in the city. See, yeah, man. But yeah, Horace came across to me as very weak. As my brother CV Sports TV says, Horace Grant should have whooped Michael Jordan's ass, plain and simple. Absolutely, man. I was just about to say that. See, listen, Michael was basically a bully that was going to test you and how much you're going to take it. And he saw Horace Grant as basically mentally weak, that he could do things to Horace Grant, and Horace Grant was not going to do nothing about it. All right? Because remember, there was a story in 1991 too where Michael Jordan was berating Bill Cartwright. Okay, Michael Jordan was berating Bill Cartwright of how he performed. And listen, it was during the time when Michael Jordan did not like Bill Cartwright because he was basically got traded for his best friend, Charles Oakley. Okay, as I see my brother Lawrence Williams in the building, salute. You know what I mean? Salute to you, the law, Lawrence Williams. Uh, LB says, somebody touch my boots, it grounds for an ass woman. Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah. But let me get to the Cartwright story. So Jordan berates Bill Cartwright and completely embarrassed him. That meant Bill Cartwright took him to the back and basically said, "Listen, if you ever do that again, you're never going to play basketball ever again because I'm going to break both of your legs." All right. That's how you try to silence down Michael Jordan. All right. And after that, Michael Jordan did not mess around with Bill Cartwright ever again. All right. Lawrence Williams said, "Who was better? Who was the better of the Grant brothers, Horace or his twin brother Harvey?" Horace, all the way. Horace was a way better rebounder, better perimeter shooter, and a better defender. Even though Harvey could also rebound too, but Horace was just a better overall player. Flat out Horace, all the way. But yeah, bro. Horace Grant really gave me a bad perception of him now because, listen, man, I get that you didn't appreciate being on the shadow of Jordan, bro. But listen, if a man takes away your food, bro, listen, you should have punched on Jordan, bro. You should have stood up to Jordan and not put up with it. All right, that just is what it is, though, bro. Man, listen. Listen, I know everybody in the comment section can agree with this. If anybody touches up your food just because you basically, was playing bad or you did something like that, man, that's grounds for a beating. You know what I mean? As LB tells that at Bacardi King, I'm putting a chair on on that dude's head, on this dude's back. Oh yeah, I don't blame you for that though, bro. I don't blame you for that. But yeah, I really think that Horace Grant, really left a bad perception on me because the thing was though, man, that listen, I believe that he was the guy that spilled the beans on a lot of this stuff. It was not anyone else. All right, and Pippen was much more of a mentally tougher player than Horace Grant was because remember when the Pistons used to bully around Horace Grant, they would give him elbows, they would slap him on the arm. You know what I mean? They would tussle with him, and Horace Grant would always react angrily. And he basically fell for the rough tactics too. But the thing was though, bro, Michael should have gotten his ass whooped. That's just is what it is. He should have gotten his ass whooped. Bakari King says, "I'm sorry, but MJ would catch these hands, bro." Oh yeah, yeah, I agree, bro. Listen, like I said before, hey, Black Fight fan, if you're still here, let me ask you this little question, Black Fight fan, if you're still here. If Michael Jordan took your food away, what would you do, bro? If you're still here, I would like you to answer that question. If you're still here, okay? But yeah, and Horace Grant really left a bad perception there. But I think, in a sense, though, that book really was the one of the motivating factors for the Bulls to go out and get the three-peat. All right, and they wanted to prove that they were basically a better team than Magic's Lakers and Isaiah's Pistons. And I think that book did much more of a positive effect on the team than a negative too. because pretty much everything was out in the open about what Jordan was doing behind the scenes. But Sam Smith was basically doing the job about exposing about what people's perception of Jordan is, and shedding the light about who Michael Jordan actually was. That's just the bottom line to all of this. Okay, but let me go back to Bakari King's question here. Let me see. Bakari King's original question was, do you think LBJ could handle Michael's competitive nature? Just a thought. No, absolutely not. Michael's competitive nature was far beyond LeBron James. Michael Jordan's basically set out flat out admit that all I gotta do is make LeBron James go left. All right, and also LeBron James has no post moves. That's what Jordan said. Okay, and Michael had much more of a competitive, streak, and basically was obsessed with winning. Something I think LeBron is not. It doesn't hurt him as much as Jordan did. When Michael lost to the Pistons those years, it hurt him deeply, but it motivated him even harder to basically get stronger in the weight room and motivating himself to get ready for the season so that go back at the Pistons. That just is what it is, though, bro. So that's my answer to that question. George Pace said, be like that dude in life. You're going to eat your cornbread." George Page always got some fools to say. I love George Page, man. He's awesome, bro. Now, Trick Nolte also said though too, as I checked it out real quick. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, this StreamYard's a little bit slow there too, but there we go. Perfect. So Trick Nolte says Horace Grant was the AC Green of the Bulls team. Weak. Do y'all remember when J.R. Reed abled AC Green on purpose and knocked his teeth out? Green picked up the team and ran back down court. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think that the video's still up on YouTube too. So yeah, but I did remember that too. I mean, J.R. Reed just flat out gave him a big time elbow right across the mouth, bro, and knocked out two of his teeth and almost ended AC Green's Iron Man streak. You know what I mean? It almost ended the Iron Man streak, but thankfully he was able to, surgically get his teeth back together, you know what I mean, and basically, was able to continue on playing, you know? Hey, 225 girl, what's going on, man? What's going on? How you doing? All right. Frank Casaformo said trick note. Exactly, bro. Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, lastly, I want to get into the gambling controversy which is basically the most ridiculous thing I've ever had to encounter, because quite frankly, the gambling thing was just stupid. It was just beyond stupid. But it all reflected back about, in 1991, when Michael Jordan was basically, was supposed to visit the White House with his team, but he was basically playing golf with a well-known, golf gambler and a well-known, drug dealer. All right. Mr. George Pay said, you remember when AC was a Christian and a virgin? Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Particularly, also another thing. Did you guys know that he also had a green bear that he always put on his head? When he was with the Lakers in 2000 with Shaq and Kobe's first championship year. The green bear was actually a symbolization of practicing abstinence. You know what I mean? Because he was practicing virginity too. So, but AC Green's classy though, bro. I like that dude. He's a very classy guy. But yeah, let me get into the gambling thing, okay? So he was basically playing golf games with this well-known drug dealer and golf gambler, okay? That basically was going to trial for drug trafficking and money laundering, okay? And apparently Michael Jordan was a witness, because he basically loaned him $51,000 to pay a gambling debt. You know what I mean? And had to talk about it under oath. So that was the first block of it. But also the second thing was that there was a guy by the name of Richard Esquinas that basically wrote a book detailing their golf games back in the same month of 1991, where Michael Jordan basically lost. It was reported, according to the book he wrote, that it was basically 2.1, million dollars. You know what I mean? $2.1 million that he lost in golf games. Yeah, Taylor said, don't forget that chump that won the debate. Oh, don't worry. We're about to end in a few minutes. Just about in a few minutes here. Just real quick, we're gonna end in a few minutes, though, bro. I'm ready for that, dude. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so all these things are too. Plus, during the conference finals against the Knicks, between the games, the days off between games 1 and 2, him and his father went to Atlantic City and basically gambled until the morning time. All right, but it became a big issue because listen, the it became a big issue for the media because they all wanted to try. They always gave that perception that Michael Jordan was gambling money too much, and that he was basically obsessed with gambling, and which was basically stupid. Listen, for me that had practiced, media in college, that was the biggest waste of time. Okay, because listen, Michael was not breaking laws. He basically was making big money. Okay, through endorsements and things of that sort. And listen, $10,000 is basically equivalent of 10 cents in his financial budget. All right, look, I don't believe that the gambling thing was a big issue, but it became a big issue, and it was so annoying that it was getting to the point where Michael Jordan said, "I'm not talking with you guys," and didn't talk with the media for a full 2 weeks until he interviewed with Mark Rashad before Game One of the '93 Finals on NBC. And looking back at that whole controversy, it was one of the big major blocks about why Michael Jordan retired. You know what I mean? Um, but also the big controversy was, that I'm sure it's going to get into in the next episodes, was that did the gambling controversy had anything to do with with Michael's father's murder? All right. So as Trick Nolte adds, do you think that Jordan's gambling habits or debt had anything to do with his father being killed? Nope, I don't believe that at all. I don't. I never believed that whatsoever. I think it was just another conspiracy, made up story. But I never believed it at all. It was absolute BS. George Page said, a lot of people believe his dad was killed because of his gambling debt. His car was found just outside of my county seat. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Crump Channel TV said, your channel on fire, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. 225 Girl says, I agree. I think it had to do with his dad's death after all these years. He barely talked about his dad's death afterwards, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was a hard thing for Michael to deal with. And I think they're going to touch about it in episode 7 and 8 too, because there's no doubt about it that, Michael's losing his father in that way was just a brutal tragedy, because there was no listen, he basically got robbed and killed. You know what I mean? And there was no doubt in my mind that, you know, it had to scar Jordan for a very long time, and it pushed him to retirement besides the gambling thing. You know what I mean? That's why I did Michael Jordan, took the time away from basketball and did the baseball thing to try to mentally heal from that whole experience, and took some time away from it, from the process. But that's just my perspective on it. But then, Michael Jordan used that as fuel, the gambling thing as fuel to win his third straight championship, and basically tore up the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns to win his third straight championship. But, the way Michael Jordan is, he's able to internalize it in a way where he could basically, internalize it and made it into a positive thing and made it work out. But, in the process, he lost his father in this whole thing, though, too, unexpectedly. So, but that's just my 2 cents on the situation. So that's pretty much it for the show, though, guys. I'm going to let my throat rest a little bit. But listen, I'm going to head to Ticket TV's channel right now. I'm going to debate this story, and I'm going to rip him to shreds, because he was talking all sorts of greasy stuff yesterday in the live stream last night. It's time to go to war right now. So y'all follow me to Ticket TV's live stream, though, bro. We're going to dispose this tour with some basketball knowledge. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out, though, bro. You know what I mean? Chick Nolte asked, who was the worst NBA bust, Rex Walters or Chris Cornini, or both? Both. They were basically good players in college, though, bro, but they didn't do nothing in the NBA. They were both bust. They were both terrible, bro. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is, though, guys. But I want to thank y'all for tuning into the show, though, man. It was pretty much loving you guys. It was chopping up in the chat, though, too. I want to give everybody a huge thanks, though, guys. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out. Follow me on Tiki TV's live stream. It's time to go to war, y'all, guys. So this has been Abil Mahari, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast for Basketball Conversations. Much love to the entire LDBC, and we out. Have a good night, guys.